I was one of the first employees of McDonald's in England. I'm secretly competitive. It's not about having a bigger car or a bigger bank account. It's just I want to be better. So you were doubling your money.
You've doubled it.
Doubled your money. Yeah.
Wow.
It was wild. Absolutely wild. Dubai's not for everyone, and everyone is not for Dubai.
Well, when we first met, that was your own business, right? You bought the business, I think I hear you say. And why did you decide to buy the business?
Because I was working for them as a sales guy.
And when you were working for them, was it going well?
It's going okay. It's doing okay.
Because in those days, it wasn't easy to...
And we were doing well. And they were very, very good at generating leads and listings and marketing, etc. That's mainly what they were doing. And then they said, look, we're leaving. We're going to close the business. We're going to move to Spain or England or somewhere.
They were British.
Yeah. And they said, do you want to take it over? Funny enough, I spoke to Simon
For advice.
Simon at House. And they were just, and stupidly, my ego got in the way. It was ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was the worst decision I've probably made in my life.
Yeah.
Is to, take over. So I'm not a loner. I can't do it. I can't manage a team of people who want holidays and can't come into work today because the dog's not well. I can't cope with that. I just can't cope with it. No empathy for those.
Yeah.
Because I'm, work.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
And have you always been work? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I've always been, I'm not stupid. I mean, academically, I think probably I was a little bit too clever, but I got bored at school, incredibly bored at school, but I really fell into work and I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
Being so academically gifted, why then, how did sales happen? Because usually sales happens when people aren't that great at academics and it's kind of a low barrier to...
So I have a title as a salesperson. I'm a real estate agent, which you may guess I'm a salesperson. I don't think I'm a salesperson. I really don't. I'm very good at building relationships fast.
Yeah.
Making people trust me. Portraying that image of being... Because I'm totally myself. I'm honest and trustworthy, etc. So I don't think I'm a salesperson. I'm not into this closing techniques and all that. Takeaway clothes.
I always remember
something clothes. I'm like,
if I take it away, they don't come back. Yeah. So how does that work?
And I need to get paid. I don't know all about all that stuff. And I never even go on the internet and look at these people.
Okay.
I think some people might say I'm a natural born salesman, but I don't know if that's true. I just like dealing with people.
I think with you, I get a sense of detachment from the outcome. I don't feel like you're too worried about losing a deal. If it doesn't feel right, you're not going to push someone and beg them to take it.
But I think are you recording this?
We're going, yeah?
Yeah. Just
soft open.
Let me just play you a message.
Yeah.
Which I think, in a way, I mean, I've played this before. Basically, Charlie Bannon. He's the managing director of House and House. He's the fourth man in the team of directors at House and House.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy. He's got a brain like you wouldn't believe. Hang on. Is there clients?
It's quite a lot on LinkedIn, I think.
Sorry?
It's quite a lot on LinkedIn.
Yeah, because he's trying to... Right.
I say, well, just shared your number with a gentleman called Daniel, and it's likely to reach out. It's place some money into off-fund investments on Dubai. So when it comes to mind, I naturally don't believe with most people I connect you with. Told him that you're a 65-year-old man that's sold off real estate in Dubai, and so tomorrow never having to sell another property, but you still do so. Just to highlight to him, and you're going to give them the best advice on what to do next when it comes to his portfolio. Thanks, Lee. Good done.
Yeah, that's the key. Sold enough real estate not to have to sell real estate. Yeah, that's a good summary, isn't it?
But I love doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not about I always say this, I get more upset when I lose a deal than when I actually, the emotional factor is much greater when I lose something rather than winning deal.
Okay.
So I don't like losing deals. I don't like losing to my competitors. So I think I was thinking about this. I talked to my team the other day and I talked to Luke about this. Luke is one of the what drives me? What is it actually? Gets me up in the morning. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's because I'm secretly competitive.
Okay.
But when I say secretly competitive, I'm not, no one would say, oh, he is really competitive. But when I hear that X has just done this or done that, etc., I want to do better.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not about having a bigger car or bigger bank account. It's just, I want to be better.
Yeah. And have you always had that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where, I think in the past, when I was younger, I would give up much easier than I do now.
Okay. Usually goes the other way around. I think none of people get a bit older.
I know. I think now I'm more.
You don't feel like you're slowing down then, that's all.
Well, my body is, but my mind isn't.
But I think training, which we'll come on to in a little bit. But just to go back again, so very academically gifted and bright, almost too intelligent.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, don't take that. I think I'm not stupid. That's the thing.
Okay.
And I could have done well if I'd applied myself at school. I didn't apply myself because I didn't really enjoy school. I didn't enjoy the whole environment.
Yeah.
My issue was I went to an extremely good school when I was like 8 years old.
Right.
So they educated me very well for the first 4 years of my life. And then I went to a bigger school, the main school, high school, and where I was like, oh, I've done that already. And I just got bored. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
too much too soon, perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, I was speaking Latin when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, how weird is that? And then I went to a school where they didn't even teach Latin. So it's just, who needs Latin? Well, I think you need Latin a lot. Yes, but there we go. It helps you learn Italian or wherever. But no, it's just, I think I was just, I was lazy at school.
Okay.
Yeah, disappointing.
And then car sales came.
My first jobs actually were in restaurants.
Okay.
I worked in the restaurant business. I worked in places like the Hard Rock Cafe in London.
Okay.
I was the doorman at the Hard Rock Cafe for about 2 years.
Doorman as in bouncer?
No, as in maitre d'. So I would greet the clients.
Yeah.
The Hard Rock Cafe in Piccadilly, people would queue for 2 or 3 hours for birds. Very much amazing. I don't know if they still do. Do they? I don't know. But they used to queue around the corner, to get in. That was when there was probably only one major burger restaurant. And I used to work on the door there, and I'd work with all these great people. It was a great team, and lots of big clients would come, like all these stars would come to the Hard Rock Cafe. I was the guy that would get them to the front of the queue, go and seat them and everything. And I did that for a year or so. That was fun.
Yeah.
I worked at McDonald's. I was one of the first employees of McDonald's in England.
Wow.
We opened the second McDonald's, which was a second or third McDonald's, which was in the Haymarket. It was the first one in the West End of London, I believe. So, and in fact, I was one of 2 British people who worked there. All the others were Americans.
Wow.
So they come over
to the South team to get started.
No, they brought over an American management team, but all the guys that worked there came from the American school in London.
Got it.
One of the American schools. So I worked with a load of American kids, plus me and one other guy who was from England. Funny enough, he went to a school very close to where I was. But yeah, did that for a few years while I was at school. It's my weekend job.
Okay.
Used to earn around 40p an hour. What's that in dirhams? About 3 dirhams, 2.5 dirhams an hour. Yeah. It was good money at the time.
Yeah. So how much did that be a week or a month?
It was nothing. I was one of the wealthiest boys at school because I was working hard even then. I think funny enough, one of the things that McDonald's teaches you is clean as you go. So do what you need to do right there and then move on to the next thing. Yeah. So that was
not taking on too much and get
process. Yeah. Very much process, step by step. It was like clean as you go. Like everything you do, there's a purpose. and then you move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next stage. And it was like process. And I think that was a good education for me. It was a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Yeah.
And you had to work fast and quick. And
yeah.
It was all about everybody had to get served within 60 seconds. Otherwise, you get their food for free.
Wow.
There was a clock on top of the till. You took the order, you pressed the clock like you do when you play chess.
Wow.
Pressed the clock, and it ticked around. And if they didn't get their food within 60 seconds, they got it for free, unless they had a special order, like no pickles on that burger.
Ah, okay.
And then you have to take a bit longer. But if it was a standard thing,
off the menu item.
Wow. Can you imagine?
It's unbelievable. Have you seen the film, The Founder?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. So now when you go to McDonald's, and I don't go very often, to be honest, very rarely, probably once every 5 years, I can't imagine how you have to wait like 5 minutes for your food.
I know.
What's that all about? It's fast food.
Yeah, it's not really that fast, is it?
Yeah.
It's like medium speed
Anyway,
these days. So McDonald's,
in McDonald's, and then I actually worked in restaurants, worked for a group of restaurants, which is no longer in existence. So I worked at the Hard Rock, and then I left the Hard Rock and I set up my own business. Wow. My first business with my stepmother, actually. And that was a wine and cheese shop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was called Foodies.
Okay.
Before Foodies became a word.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Foodies. Granby. Yeah. Before.
Yeah. Nobody would.
Lots of people talk. Oh, you're a foodie.
Yeah.
You're a foodie. But that was before all that. So we called it Foodies. And, did that for a couple of years. And then one of my friends knew her brother-in-law's sister or something, or brother, her brother-in-law's brother, ran a Porsche dealership in London.
Okay.
And he was looking for someone to work at the motor show for about 2 or 3 weeks in London at Earl's Court, because it wasn't really Porsche. They were bringing in this sort of upgraded Porsches. It was called Rinspeed or Rinspeed. It's called Rinspeed, a Swiss company. And they couldn't put it on the Porsche stand because it wasn't official Porsche. So they did this secondary thing. Got it. And I worked there for about 3 weeks. My first car sale, my first real proper sale, believe it or not, was to the Sultan of Brunei.
Unbelievable.
There you go. And he said, it wasn't him, his man came and said, right, I'd like to buy that. Okay. I said, would you like to pay a deposit? He said, look, my money is my word. And then he took the car straight away.
Wow.
Went straight to Heathrow Airport and back to Brunei. But that was the first sale. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to car sales. I believe he's very, very fortunate. So I worked at McDonald's, one of the first people. I worked at the Hard Rock Cafe, one of the first people to do that. And then I worked in car sales. And I worked at like the best London dealership, one of the biggest Porsche dealers in the world.
And was there any thought or plan, I need to go into a good dealership? Or you just fell into everything?
I just fell into everything I've ever done. I've fallen into.
Wow.
That's another thing. I was talking to someone about this recently. I have never had some kind of ambition to be anybody. Yeah. I just fell into these things. Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe you're kind of open to these things because of the way your mind works. It's like,
yeah,
you're not closing down opportunities. Yeah. You're kind of...
I think you're probably taking risk. Or probably actually also even... I think to a lot of extent, it's probably just, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah. I can relate.
I just,
there's a lot of people can.
Yeah, and I didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
So when people came up to me and said, do you want to go and sell Porsches?
Need something to do.
I had to get a friend, a girl, to drive me around London to show me what Porsches looked like that were parked up, because I had no idea. Oh, that's a 911. Okay. Okay, and what's that? Oh, that's a 924. That's a 944. Oh, the engine's at the front or the engine's at the back? Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I went from Porsches to selling Bentleys and Rolls Royces.
And then just develop a passion for cars and...
Again, yes. I mean, I'm going to go back to property. I read about property all the time. I look at brochures. I look at floor plans. I look at prices. I look at WhatsApp groups. So I'm really studying my craft, and when it's as far as cars, yes. Now today, no, I've got very little. very little interest. But I was passionate about cars at the time you're in. So you come to me and say, oh, I'm driving X car. I would know all about that car. Oh, that's an old 60. Oh, well, this one is better than that. Yeah, I know all that. I read all the magazines. Auto car magazine probably didn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also people think I look a bit like Jeremy Clarkson.
Nice.
I don't know if they do, but there we go. Somebody once told me, because my hair was a bit wild, I looked a bit like Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so then, so car sales, obviously, I believe you sold a car to someone who had business in Dubai. Is that right?
I sold a car to an Indian student, who lived in Dubai, who came from an extremely wealthy family, and he bought a car from me. And then the next year to 2 years, he just said, "Look, I'm setting up this car dealership in Dubai. You need to come and work for me." And right then, yeah, I'm happy. I work in Bentley in Mayfair. Yeah, the GT's coming, and I'm going to make loads of money, and so that. And then a few things happened in my personal life. And I thought, okay. And he said, come to Dubai for one weekend. And
2003.
In 2003, yeah. I came here in August, and I think about May 2003, maybe even earlier, I came and spent a long weekend. He put me in the Emirates Towers. And I thought, this is all right. And then he said he's going to pay me X amount of money, and I got it fixed to sterling. So that was very good.
Okay.
And I came over. And then I started working for him. And then unfortunately, he was killed in a car crash. And so his business was dissolved, or at least it passed to other members of his family that didn't really want me working for them. And then I met two ladies through a guy that I'd sold a Bentley to in London, who was living here, and he knew these ladies who was setting up a real estate company. He said, oh, you should go and talk to them. I had an interview with Damac.
Wow.
And first of all, because some other guy told me I should go and work for Damac. So
I can't imagine Damac back in those.
It was in Shakeside Road. It was a small office. The owner was in one office. I can't remember the name of the guy that used to run Damac. He's quite famous. He was there for many years. And then I got interviewed by this lady, and I think she asked me to take an English test. And I thought, I'm not sure that's really the company for me. You don't really get me if you need me to take an English test. So, yeah. And then I met these two ladies, Helen and Pauline, who were setting up Dubai luxury homes.
Wow.
And the rest is history.
And getting into it now, so you sit down day one and you're like, right, where do we start? What was your first few days, first few weeks like back in those days?
So we're talking about a time when people were buying property to flip.
Yeah.
They were putting 5%, 10% down, and then just
within a couple of crazy times.
I was selling like 10, 20 properties a month. It was all over the phone. We didn't really have the internet. We were advertising in newspapers, the Gulf News. It was about that thick. There were about 4 supplements all to do with property, one for cars and the rest with property. And I don't know. We got involved in certain developers, and we were telling, this is amazing, etc. We were shipping brochures by couriers back to the UK. Everything was done very manually. Didn't have Google Maps, couldn't have Waze. We were looking at maps.
Yeah.
The marina was just being.
And where were you mainly selling?
Marina, Dubai Marina.
Yeah.
There was a lot of business was being done.
Marina.
Sorry?
JBR was a bit later, right?
No, JBR was first. We missed JBR and the Palm really to an extent, because that was pretty much tied up. So no, we were doing Shorelines and the Golden Mile, but Marina mostly. We concentrated on that. That was the only. JLT didn't exist. JVC came in a bit later. Arabian Ranches then. We were selling quite a bit in Arabian Ranches.
Got it. And the buyers were from?
Mostly UK.
UK?
We were a British real estate company.
Yeah.
So I would say most of my clients from the UK, quite a few Iranians.
And they were happy to buy off plan in those days because, from the UK,
everybody was making money.
Yeah.
Build it and they will come. Literally, flipping properties was the strategy for most.
Did you say flipping? What sort of percentages and what timeframes were we talking about?
Buy property on a Monday, pay your 10% or 5%, yeah, and the following week or 2 weeks later, you get a 5 or 10% premium, and then you just get out of it.
Wow.
That's how it was.
We're talking relative value, not on the amount that you've paid. So
No, on the property value. So you were doubling your money.
You've doubled it.
Doubled your money. Yeah.
Wow.
It was wild. Absolutely wild. Because there was FOMO. Everybody was, launches were happening. They were happening and selling out immediately. And then you could, you could sell a ticket for a queuing place. So there were laborers going down to Emaar. They were queuing up, getting to the front, getting a token, and then going to the back of the queue and selling it for 10 or 20,000 dirhams.
Wow. Unbelievable.
But and that was personally invested, not sustainable. Yeah. Not one of them got built.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But the thing is, it was a time where I think everything was done crazy. Was it the Thatcher years? I think the Thatcher years as well, wasn't it? Or maybe it was post-Thatcher.
No, it's post-Thatcher.
Yeah. So it was just everything you did. It was making so much. Everybody was making money. And then Schiss and Lehman.
Yeah.
Lehman Brothers went pop.
Yeah.
And it also.
And how was it? Did you really feel it like almost the next day? Was it so sudden here?
No.
You kind of saw it coming from a distance.
So that happened, October and November in 2008, or something like that. I remember Springs 3M selling for $3.5 million dirhams, $1 million. And we're going like, that doesn't make sense. And I wasn't selling anything in 2008 because it just didn't make any sense because the prices were crazy. And I couldn't tell someone, I think you should buy this because I didn't see any future in it. Honestly, we were
not the people here to occupy.
No, it wasn't that. It was just the prices were mad. A 3M originally was 800,000 dirhams or 900,000 dirhams 2 years previously. And now it was selling for 3.5 million.
Yeah.
I remember Paul Sharland sold the first 4E, Type 4E, which is a 2-bed plus study on the lake, corner plot. It was a big plot, and he sold it just over $1 million dirhams. What's that worth today? Is that 2.5, 3 million?
More, I think.
But they were going crazy. I don't know how much a 4E is now, but I imagine it's probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was that price, but almost immediately.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was a complete crazy time. But we didn't know it. We didn't think it was. We didn't think it was going to stop. We thought it was going to last forever. But at the same time, so to answer your question, when did I see it slow down? It was a very abrupt slowdown when Lehman's went. But I think leading up to that, few months before, I think a lot of people were saying it's too expensive. Yeah. And of course, anybody that bought then, they lost, they gained, they lost, they gained. Look at the people who bought and sold in the palm. Probably 80% of them have made huge amounts of money, 20% of them are lost.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy
times.
And so at that point, were you like, what am I going to do now? How did you deal with that mentally? Did you have savings?
I had some savings.
Okay.
I had quite a lifestyle.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I've heard. What?
Yeah. I heard about those times.
Mad, yeah. So I had some savings, and when it happened, I decided to, I went into rentals. Okay. So there was a building in DIFC, across the road from DIFC. What's it called?
Bergman?
No, next door to Bergman. What's that building called?
I don't know it.
Anyway, I sat in the lobby there and I did rentals, and I was
Sky Gardens.
Yeah. Sky Gardens. So I sat in there, and funnily enough, Better Homes had like half the building, and then some bank had the other half, and they were selling, etc. So we would split commissions with Better Homes, and I would sit in the lobby and I was just renting loans, just sat there. I made a living. I thought, all right, that's enough of this. And I went off and lived in Thailand. I sold everything. Sold all my cars, Got rid of my apartment, sold all my apartment, my 5-bedroom villa, sold all the furniture, got rid of all of that. Had like what do you call it? A boot sale, but car boot sale, but in my house in Barsha. And moved to Thailand and spent 3 months there, and then travelled around the world for a year.
Okay,
Excellent.
nice.
And then came back and tried real estate a bit longer. It didn't work because nobody was buying. I couldn't understand people were selling credit notes.
Yeah,
And I didn't quite understand how the
developers said like, we're not going to build it anymore.
Yeah,
Take this.
is a
Like,
credit note, go buy something else. Simon Baker did very well after that. He understood because he's a math genius.
Yeah,
And I didn't really get it. So I then went back into the car business.
right. Oh, here in Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, a friend of mine introduced me to Porsche in Dubai. I worked in Porsche Dubai, and that was the first or second largest Porsche dealer in the world.
On Tuesday.
The Sheikh Zayed, it was on Sheikh Zayed Road, across the road from the Burj Khalifa.
Okay.
There was a Tesla showroom. I think now it's Plasti's office now.
Okay.
It's in the Al Nabuda building. So I worked there for about 18 months, 2 years.
Wow.
And did all right.
Yeah.
It was good.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, loved it. And then I went back to the UK.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't expect all of this, and I don't think many people do, because they look at you now and think, oh, the king of off-plan real estate in Dubai, and just must have been so easy for you and so smooth, and you just came so early, but you've almost had to reset a few times.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
So it's the advantage that you kind of had from being here was more knowledge, more than anything, I think, and just having seen the different markets, as opposed to business hasn't built up over that period of time. It's stopped.
Honestly, this is what's happening at the moment has really only happened in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
For me. And a lot to do with social media, a lot to do with the market, of course. And a lot to do with Dubai, because Dubai back in 2007, 2008 was like, oh, come here, everything's crazy. We're going to do the biggest, the greatest, the largest, the finest, the brightest, gold machine. It's all in whatever.
Promise and vision.
It was. I mean, there's no real substance. They weren't backing it up with anything. And I think in the last, but Dubai did an incredibly good job in coping with COVID.
Yeah.
And that's what really changed everybody's minds about Dubai. Forget about the oil price. Forget about whatever that would happen. They did an amazing organizational job around COVID. And we hear that.
Yeah.
I don't know I mean, it was hard for us at the time. The fact that we couldn't leave the house for 3 months.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because I just done a big deal with Shoba.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, it was a perfect timing, and I just kind of enjoyed it. It was a 1 month full lockdown.
Was it only a month?
But yeah, like full lockdown, you couldn't leave the door, you couldn't leave your door basically. Yeah. And then after that, it was kind of slowly returning back to normal, just wearing the masks and staying. And then we were, but yeah, I think 3 months in total where it was really restricted. Then there was the 11 p.m. curfew, which I never quite understood. COVID can't come out in the evenings. But yeah, but you see everyone else in and out of lockdowns, or businesses being shut down, and yeah, they did an amazing job.
Amazing job. And I think that's what the rest of the world took notice of that. And then also people from all over the world recognized, hang on a minute, my government's just given loads of money around to people who can't work. Who's going to pay that? Oh dear, my taxes are going to increase. They didn't really do a very good job. In almost every country in the world didn't do a good job. Australians are still complaining about it. Americans, and there's atrocious what's going on there. Is it true? Is it not? Is it true? Etc. UK, terrible job. So a lot of European countries lost a lot of people during COVID because they just didn't manage it. I think here we have the lowest death rate per person per head.
Yeah.
There was some island in the middle of the Pacific that was slightly better than ours because no one ever went there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was amazing what they did. And I think the rest of the world just sat up and thought, oh, these guys, they know what they're doing. And this looks like a nice place because there's no tax. It's safe. And the government's done an amazing job. And I really loved it. And I think that's where all of us have enjoyed the fruits of that organisation and what the government did.
Yeah.
Over the last, what is it? Is it 5 years now?
5 years, yeah. 2025, yeah. It's, I always say that I feel incredibly lucky because I randomly came across Dubai because there's nothing else going on in Wigan, where I'm from, to be honest, in terms of opportunity. And when we came in 2013, not quite as far back as you, but it wasn't what it is today. And again, it was a lot of promise and a lot of talk, but before COVID, it wasn't really happening that much. And, it's just now become such an amazing place that we would never think about leaving. But it wasn't that when we came. We didn't really look at, okay, where's our options in the world? Where can we go? Let's plan it out. We just kind of fell into it, and it's now something that we never imagined, to be honest. So,
Do you think you'll ever leave?
I don't think so. No idea, no plans, no real thought about or vision where I would go apart from Dubai, to be honest. There was looking at school, so we're kind of fixed for the next, 16, 18 years, I think.
So back in the day when I was in the UK, you went to dinner with friends or having a meal, having a drink, and it was like everybody talked about mortgages and tax and mortgages. That's it. That's what you... But here, the question on everybody is that, what are you going to do? What's your plan?
Yeah.
Now I don't think even people ask that question anymore because they know that everybody's going to stay.
Yeah.
But there was this thing where it was always going to be quite temporary. It was temporary. It was like,
we're in next.
where are you going next? Yeah. Exactly. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you retire? What's your future plans? Yeah. When are you going to go back to the UK? And now, I mean, look, it's not for everyone. Anybody listening to this or watching this has to understand that it's Dubai is not for everyone, and everyone is not for Dubai. It's as simple as that. And just if someone described Dubai to me properly before I got here, I would never have come.
Not in 2003.
You just think, well, there's no culture. Yes, there is. There's loads. Yeah, it's just sand. It's hot. It's really hot. No, it's not. There's lots of air conditioning. There's all these things that they could have done.
Yeah.
It's Shakeside Road, one of the most dangerous roads in the world. You don't want to drive.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. It's like all these things. I mean, I had to when this young guy asked me to come and work here, I had to not Google it because Google didn't exist, but ask Julius. I went on Ask Jeeves. Yeah, that was that Dubai. Tell me about the currency. How much money should I earn?
Wow.
Yeah, just stuff like that.
Yeah, incredible.
So yeah. So I'm in love with Dubai.
Yeah,
you too.
Me too. Yeah, I can definitely tell.
Yeah, we're all a bit smug, really, because we're living in a place that is. I don't know if you're a 22-year-old, 25-year-old in the UK or anywhere else in the world, from any nationality really or any area, you must be thinking, why not? Why don't I come to Dubai? You must be thinking, it must be on. It's one of those places. So do I go and get a job in the city and work in the financial or work in a bank, or my friend's gone to Dubai, he's doing all right.
Yeah,
I've been there on holiday. It's a really nice place. I think maybe it's got to be one of those options for sure.
Yeah,
probably even when you're at school, you might even be thinking, Dubai is one of the a career option.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, then you have to go to any developer's launch, and you can see all the young guys from all over the world. Yeah, who have chosen to help someone to work in real estate. Yeah. And there's no accident. You go to the car showrooms, you go to any shops, everybody, people. It's and it's not always just about money. It's about the opportunities that this country is going to give you.
Yeah, I think I have 2 kids now, and I just couldn't imagine wanting to be anywhere else. To be honest, I think it's great. Sausage.
Do you kids at school?
Yeah, the thought. Yeah, first is at school. So old is that? 3. Say school. Here is school. No, nursery. Okay, well, it really is a school.
What do you mean? What's the
nice uniform, start and finish?
3-year-old has 3 uniform.
Yeah,
they're only just out of nappies.
I know. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's great. I mean, she loves it, and
the way of making money, isn't it? Good school uniform.
Exactly, it is. That's a great business.
Yeah,
but no, it's it's great, and just not having that thought of safety and not having that worry about these things that you see happening all over the world. It's just nice feeling.
All the different nationalities they go to school with your kids.
Yeah.
They're open to everything.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it really is.
When I went to school, and if there was one guy from India, it was like, oh,
Yeah, same.
that's it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's amazing.
here is incredible. Yeah, it's brilliant. So obviously, so you went to the UK, back into real estate, into house and house, and built an incredible business. I think from back when you came to Thailand, came back to Perth, went back to the UK. From that point, there's been a lot of ups and downs. You talked about having your own business for some time, which isn't for everyone.
No,
but I think it's great that you recognise that. You had to go through the experience to kind of know that. But I think that's a huge challenge that people have. The hardest thing is to know yourself. And then what you said before about I am not that person to run a business and to deal with HR and people not coming in. Do you think you've got sometimes experienced that to know yourself? Because
look, I thought I wanted to leave Dubai, and I had this plan that I was going to work towards going back to the UK, and I went back to the UK and got it out of my system.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to run my own business, and I tried that, and I've now got it out of my system, and I will never, ever do it again. Never. I mean, there are lots of things I'd love to set up businesses here in Dubai because I think there's huge amounts of opportunities. And the first thing that comes into my head is I have to deal with staff and I have to deal with customers. I can't imagine having a coffee shop here, you see the attitude of people who go into coffee shops and the staff, all those issues. You just think, well, that's a very simple trading business.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's fraught with issues. I just look at it and think, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am. I'm really happy. I work for an amazing real estate company. And I'm not just saying that because I'm being recorded. I genuinely believe that they are an amazingly well-run business where everything I need is done. Which, if I don't need it, then there's no one's telling me, oh, you have to do this. I can get on with the way I work. I do all my social media stuff. I come into work. No one's saying, oh, you have to be at work at this time. You have to do this. You have to do that. This is the way of freedom. Yeah, because they know I'm not going to.
For you or for the team?
I think to an extent, it's almost, if we see people are working hard and they're being honest and they're trustworthy and they're not lying and etc., pretty much anything you can, guess if you came into work every day at 11 o'clock and missed every single meeting, because we have morning meetings quite often. And we have developers come into the office. So if you're not getting involved in that thing, it's not really house and house. People say that house and house is very corporate. It's not that. We're not corporate in that sense. We're just really professional.
Yeah.
And I love all that. I love the fact that we've got amazing people doing all the admin. And we've got amazing everything. Great offices.
Yeah.
My birthday. Lovely coffee shop in the office now.
Yeah.
You've been there.
You've been there, yeah.
Kind of so good, but
really doesn't feel like an office.
Lovely bunch of people. Great culture. There's no, what's it? This, some of the companies you worked at in the past, these, what are they called? Those men, what's they called? They called those guys?
I don't know.
Anyway, we lost. What are they called? Those, bad, all into fitness, shouting and screaming. What are they called?
Type A?
Type A again.
Yeah. No.
I mean, there are a few guys who are doing all that, but there's no attitude.
Yeah.
There's no toxicity. That's definitely where I get.
Well, how would you describe the culture?
Collaborative. Yeah, I think everybody tries to work with each other. There's no real.
How is that encouraged? Because that can be a big challenge in real estate offices that I've seen, because it's kind of every man for them. It is every man for themselves,
because it isn't with us.
But it's not with you.
Everybody, we have teams who specialize in certain areas. And even in my side of the business, which is off-plan investments, we have small teams who all work together for the greater good of the company. And I'll be honest, I think I've said this before, the secret recipe for us is our CRM system. I mean, it's built for real estate. I think we're the only company in all of the UAE who uses this particular piece of software, although probably 80% of real estate companies in the UK use it, estate agents. It's called Repit.
Yeah.
And it encourages transparency. So everybody can see what everybody's got for sale. Everybody's got to see what everybody's got for rent. And people do sometimes keep stuff hidden. We find those people out and we can tell them off.
Yeah.
Tell them that isn't how we work. So, and everybody works as a team. So you'll find we have this WhatsApp group, which is reports on what sales are. We don't mention figures. The money side of things is never really talked about, except at the monthly meeting. So when we see how much money the company's made, etc., where we are against budget. But you'll see on the list, collaborative. There's a lot of joint deals. Maybe even as many as 3 or 4 people will have touched on a deal.
Wow.
But that's where you learn a lot. You do deals. You're selling other people's in your team's properties. You're all working together to make it happen. And I think that's probably one of our greatest strengths, is that, collaboration. Now, it's not for everyone, because some people want to just do their own thing, but they don't master it on the fence, how they are.
Yeah. Certainly not in-house house.
Now, we've got guys who've been there 10 years working in the same company. We've got quite a few people like that.
Yeah. Speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Successfully as well.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about agencies and how culture and success of agents, what mistakes do you see new agents making these days?
Impatience.
Yeah.
No patience.
Why do you think that is?
Social media, perhaps. I think, they're seeing what's going on in social media. They're saying that, this guy seems to be selling, these agents that go online telling them, I just sold this, I just sold this, I'm driving around a Lamborghini, etc. They see all this and they have FOMO and they really want to run before they can walk. I think that's one of the things. They're not prepared to follow the process and learn about their business, improve their craft, and offer their clients something that is good for their client. I think they're just into just selling. I think that's one of the big problems I see, is where I think anybody coming into this business in sales, if they don't even have a real estate background from wherever they came from, is you've got to look at it as a 2-3 year project just to get
something going to build a business.
It's like your own business. You can't open a business today and expect to start making money in 2 or 3 months. It's no different.
Yeah, you've got to invest to grow a business.
And I think that's what a lot of
the computers and rent the office space, pay the staff, and then eventually you'll start to make people in real estate expect make money straight away.
Yeah, I think that's one of the mistakes. I thought about something else this morning before you even asked that question. It's gone out of my head. Maybe it'll come. Maybe we'll go back to it and you cut it in.
Yeah.
But I think, look, we know from experience there's a lot of people who are coming into this country because it's like bees around a honeypot. Yeah. They see all this stuff on social media. They read what's going on in the press, another record month in real estate in Dubai, et cetera, come here, you'll make your fortune, etc. And I think you're getting a lot of people coming in here and they sit down, they work for maybe a developer's office or they work in one of these like boiler room environments within a large real estate company where you just say, right, there's a list. Go and make all these phone calls. Yeah, you get them all the time. I get them all the time. Agents phoning me and saying, "I do want to list your property. Are you interested in buying a property?" and all this. And I think, that's a really hard way of doing business. And I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, I'm interested in buying. Oh, well, this is what you're going to buy. Well, you don't know how much money I've got. You don't know what.
There's a lot of things to be talked about. Full idea on that.
What my strategy is. You don't know if I got a really bad relationship with that developer. I bought there already. All these things. They're not asking enough questions. That probably, and it's not. Again, it's not probably not their fault. It's just really bad training.
Yeah,
because companies, it's like people. There are companies here. They're bringing people in from all over the world. They're not even giving them visas, and they're saying, "Right, I'll give you a visa when you've done your first deal."
Yeah,
come on. How can you take someone seriously? I know from experience that is I've even got friends who have been for interviews at real estate companies with recruiters or with the CEO or something. CEO turns up half an hour, 45 minutes late. Just stuff like that goes on, and you just think, it's not right.
yeah, just basics.
Got to take it serious.
Yeah,
the basics. You've got to do the basics.
Yeah,
I think that's probably, choose wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and as when it comes down to it, if you actually look at the amount of deals that are done, and the amount of real estate agents who are registered real estate agents, there's probably another 50% who aren't registered because they've just started. I think the average is like one deal every 3 months.
Yeah.
And then it's probably even worse than that. I don't know, but last time I looked was about a year or so ago. It was about one deal every 3 months. Well, I know how many deals I've done this month.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Yeah.
Because someone's there, right? Someone's doing zero for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I think starting rentals is starting rentals. Go into rentals, you make some money, you'll learn the business, you'll know how to do it and how to do it. Yeah. That's a good base.
You still think now is a good time for people to get into this business?
No, everybody just leave us alone.
No, cool. Nobody.
It's always a good time. It's like it's not asking me if it's a good time to invest. I don't know what's going to happen in 3 months, 6 months. At the moment, the market's great. This is a good time to start anything. Yeah. What do they say? The best time was yesterday. Today is the next best time. Yeah, to invest, to come and change your job. But don't come in with an attitude that you're just going to make money, because it's not about making money. You've got to do all the groundwork. It's very easy for me to say that I don't focus on the money, because I've got money coming in, because I'm just repeat referrals and investments that I've made, etc. along the way. So don't come into this business and just think about making money.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to, you may succeed, you may be lucky, and you might make a lot of money. But it's not a long term. That's not a long term way of doing business.
Yeah, I think it is tough for people. That comment before from Charlie, where he said this guy sold enough real estate not to have to sell real estate. I think the challenge for people who haven't sold enough real estate, of course, and they have to sell real estate, is distribution attachments from the outcome is not so easy.
That's why you should go and learn your craft by doing rentals.
Get money, and slowly
learn your craft. Get some money behind you. And really know whether this is something for you.
Yeah.
And then go into sales. And, we've got some amazing sales guys. But the best ones, in my opinion, are ones that come from rentals. Because they've learnt it. They've done it 6 months to a year, maybe even longer. They've done well in rentals. We've got a guy just started in rentals. He's never done real estate, worked in real estate before. He's come over here from Wales. He's never really had a proper job by his own admission, apart from playing rugby. And he's come over here, and I think in 6 or 7 weeks, he's closed about 15 deals.
Wow.
I mean, that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And he's going to be amazing in sales.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But I don't know what he's telling people to rent.
Yeah.
And he's working in villas. Imagine. He's not in apartments or fast-moving items. So, yeah. I mean, that's what a great training. And he admits it. It's great learning. He's excited. He loves it. I think that's the kind of attitude you have.
Yeah, agreed.
Don't come here money.
Now,
same for investors.
I was just going to say, so now putting it on the other side, what mistakes are investors making when they're looking into,
we're talking about buying cheap.
Yeah.
That's one of the major problems.
But they're just looking at the price. So like agents just look at the money they can make. Buyers just look at the cost of pay.
Yes.
And not much else.
Yeah. So looking at properties because it's got a great payment plan, or it's cheap.
That's only a very small.
Not on makes deal here, Vince. No? Do you not agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm saying,
I'm not saying you've got to spend lots of money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you've got to spend lots of money. You don't need to spend lots of money. You can enter this market now for what? $300,000, £250,000 is your starting point for something decent. No? Yeah. So maybe you'll get a studio for a couple of $100,000. That's your starting point. But don't just look at the price. I know, I used to work doing resales, and I always remember people looking at the marina, looking at resales of the marina, and they come up and say, I can buy a 2-bed in this building for $1 million dirhams. And we go, have you seen that building? There's a reason why it's $1 million dirhams for a 2-bed in that building. You know the one I'm talking about. Has it had a fire recently? No, it probably hasn't. But, I'm just saying it's obvious why it's that price. And it's the same with any off-plan property. If it's cheap or it's got a low ticket price, there's a good reason.
Yeah.
Because we know that land costs the same in that area. Building costs is pretty much the same. There's some variances on quality, so it's slightly different. And the profit margin for the developer is pretty much the same. Yeah? Those three things are the same for everybody neighbouring. So if it's cheap, they're going to be cutting down on something. And it won't be land costs, because land costs, unless, of course, they bought the land 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Or they're really scrimping on the quality.
Yes, that's where they have to make money, right? So it's going to come from some part of the...
They're going to have to cost something.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be the land.
Charities.
And it probably won't be the profit.
Yeah. No,
it'll be on
that they have margins no matter what the price of.
Exactly.
They'll make their money.
Yeah.
So with that thesis, would you say it's better to buy a smaller property in a better location? Is that what you kind of read?
No, I think I've always said that I don't think location makes such a big difference here. Yes, it gives you an idea of the community and the spread, but I would always go with the best developer. Who is the best at building? You've seen it. Look at an area like JVC. Everybody's going against JVC, but JVC is still a great place for people to buy. If you're 25, 30 years old, you're buying your first property. You can't afford downtown. You can't afford a decent building in Business Bay. You can't afford the Palm. Where can you afford? You can afford JVC. Yeah, you can afford to rent a very nice building in JVC, or you can afford to buy something. First-time buyers, I'm talking about first-time investors.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect property, but there is a huge difference from one building to the next. We've seen it. Some of the buildings where you can rent out a one-bedroom for 100, 120, and your next-door neighbour, you can get them for 70. Yeah.
Just next door.
And so it's not about location.
Yeah.
It's about who the developer. Marina is a fine example. 80% of the buildings there are old. They're not particularly well made. They might be solidly built, but they're not. There's no efficiency in their space, etc. And then you've got maybe 20% of the buildings which are really nice, really lovely buildings, where there's a lot more thought has gone into the quality, into the views, the lifts, the quality of the lifts, the quality of the reception, your arrival experience is there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still buildings in the marina where you go into the reception. There's a guy in there like an old school desk, isn't there?
Yeah.
And he's got slippers on. And he has another shave in 2 weeks. Those, you know the ones I'm talking about? Yes, they're plenty like that.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting.
And they smell.
And I think people, especially overseas investors, just think about location and price, and that's where they make the big mistakes.
When people say to me on the phone, I want to buy in a really good location, can you explain that to me, please? Because I don't know what that means. Because the way that Dubai is evolving, we know that Arabian Ranches at one point was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And now it's the center of Dubai. We know that the Palm was just a dream, and that's another location. It's just, I really like Dubai South. I don't like all the buildings in Dubai South, but I like the idea of Dubai South. I like the idea of the valley, in the LA Road. I like that whole, because it's a community. It's a lovely place, and that's not about location. Because if you look at the map,
you go, no,
that's not even out there. But Seriously, you wait.
Yeah.
It's about the quality of the build, the quality of the community, and the quality of the developer, and how well they're going to look after it.
Yeah.
I think that's much more important. And just like if you said, right, I'm going to go and live in England or America tomorrow or France, that's a bit general.
Yeah.
What's a good location? Yeah, we all want to live in Mayfair in London, or maybe we don't, but we want to own something in Mayfair. We want to own it downtown, of course, but not everybody can afford that. It's not for everyone.
And I think coming from like a major city like London, where it was built all around the same time, you don't really have that huge difference, like you said in JVC, where next door you've got a building which is worth 70,000 a year, and one which is 150. You don't have that so much. So I think people have that mindset of location because of those older cities.
I think to an extent, and then
because you find in Mayfair, you don't really have bad buildings in Mayfair,
No.
So you kind of just think, because of the location, I'm safe, whereas you don't have that.
No, you don't. Because also people are moving here and they're all looking at, where are my friends living? Where is my kids going to go to school? Where am I going to work? And the way the government's organising it over there, 2040 plan, and the way they're going to spread out those 5 main areas, so important to understand.
Yeah.
I used to take people to Expo. And they said, oh, no, I can't live here. It's too far away. Well, I live in DIFC. My office is near the middle of the Emirates. It takes me 45 minutes to an hour and a half to get home to DIFC. It takes me 18 minutes in the morning when there's no traffic. And to go to Expo, I can measure it down to the minute. It's 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, there and back.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to live in Expo?
Plus FDR. And you actually look at the time.
And what a great place to live. What a lovely environment, car-free, infrastructure is amazing. You're not that far from the beach. You're not that far from the new airport. It's going to be a great place. So I think, it's really about, I don't know, where your tribe is, where your people are going to be.
Yeah.
And that's why I really don't like people dissing on places like JVC, because JVC for a lot of people is all they can afford, and all their friends are there, and the lifestyle of people having there. Yes, it's a bit of a mess. Yes, the roads aren't great, but once all the construction is done, that'll all be better.
You go to Mayfair and see how the traffic is on a Friday.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Try driving across London on a Friday evening.
Or any city with that. Amazing. Well, look, I know you're incredibly busy. I think that was...
That's it. We finished.
Yeah. I mean, it could go on for another hour plus, I'm sure. But I'm just cognizant that you're a busy guy. And, really appreciate it.
God, the story. I'm happy talking for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Gee, sorry, guys. I didn't realise.
No, it's brilliant.
My hours today. What are we, Thursday?
Yeah,
getting old, mate. Getting old. Thursday. I'm having dinner with a client tonight at 7:00. That's it. I'm finished for the day.
There we go. Nice. Is that something you do quite a lot? Well, like meals, dinners with clients? Because people say you should do that. You should be out with your clients a lot more, but it's not always easy to do that.
Okay.
So, I think, you've got to have a great relationship. You've got to be able to build a great relationship and have that openness. That's not always that easy.
I was talking to my team this morning, and they were complaining, oh, look, we're phoning these people. We're calling. They made the inquiry, then we're calling them, and they're just not picking up. They're not answering, etc. I just saying, well, move on. He's not interested.
What do you mean?
Everybody I've ever sold a property to has been someone who wants to talk to me.
I know.
If it's been responsive. You can't sell or help someone buy a property in Dubai if they don't respond.
Yeah.
If they just say, oh, could you send me your doctor?
Yeah.
Just forget it. Move on. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, we get that.
Oxygen thieves.
What should I say? There's no magic secret. We've got to find someone that wants to do business. Wants to buy something else.
Don't make 100 phone calls a day.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Make 5 and make every single one count.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my idea. What do you think?
Okay.
You probably want your agents to call 50 times. So
well, the thing is, the difference is, in an ideal world, speaking to 5 people that want to buy or sell a property is much better than calling 100 that don't. But it's finding those 5.
Yeah.
Having those 5. That's the key.
Yeah, but it's so difficult for people new. I mean,
Yeah, I was just this one.
I don't know how many agents I get calling me. To call a client from a list and say, you're interested in buying property. How difficult must that be?
I can only think about myself when I first started, and you sit down and if somebody said to me, okay, you can't do that, you can't call people. Yeah. What do I do now?
I don't know.
Going, I mean,
It's impossible. I don't know. What's the answer? How do you
it annoys me when people say a little bit, don't call, calling's bad, and they do the LinkedIn articles about how bad it is. But then I know for a fact that you go into the office that they're in and all the company.
If you look at my company, all the new guys who are making money are ones that make calls.
Yeah.
They're sitting at their desks, they're making calls.
Yeah.
We've got these like boot by telephone.
Yes.
We just sound to people, and they're sitting there and they could be just talking to people.
Yeah. And it's easy for someone who's been there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years to where you don't need to call, but guaranteed when you started, you call people, and now you've got a network and you're known and people are coming to you, and that's a completely different business model, which is ideal. I get it, but it's just, it's really tricky. I don't know. Maybe AI can do something.
Well, I'm sure it will.
It will. It's coming, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's going to be these AI guys calling clients.
I'm always like, are you an AI? No, I'm really not sure. I want to catch them out. But I'm sure already it exists where you can't tell, but I don't think real estate companies have those systems just yet, because I think they're probably too expensive and too complex for real estate companies to have in Dubai. But I know they exist, so I think maybe next year you won't know the difference. We're testing a few things. We've had some people in, and it's great, but you still know it's an AI. But you almost have to go, I know it's an AI, but they give me what I want, and it's flowing conversation, and it's quite nice. And I think people will enjoy speaking to AI more than.
I think so too. Talking about mistakes investors make, go on ChatGPT and see what should I invest in Dubai. I'm getting that. Are you getting that?
No.
I don't. ChatGPT, I think you get messed up.
ChatGPT is really bad for factual information. I'll say it. I think it's terrible. It's mostly wrong.
Yes.
That's not what it's there for. It's there for framing ideas, giving you inspiration,
helping you respond to it.
Doing things in a professional manner.
Yeah.
Fact checking. It's
no.
And they'll even tell you that this is not what we built anymore, because it's only going to get, and it tells you where the sources are from. And a lot of the sources are wrong. That's the problem.
Yes.
But I believe that in time, people, especially when buying a property, you don't want to make mistakes. And you don't want to deal with someone who has limited knowledge and bias towards perhaps certain developers or certain sellers that they know and trust, and they're getting more commission from them. You want to just deal with someone that knows everything in a split second and gives you the
jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Very good.
But yeah, no, amazing.
Brilliant. Thank
you so much.
Thanks, Liam.
Thank you, everyone. Great. Thank you for your time. You might have a queue of people waiting for autographs when we get out.
Stop. Yeah.